Welcome to the Center for the Performing Arts and tonight's performance of the Artistry and Activism of Frances Ellen Watkins Harper by sharing our legacy dance theater. My name is Sita Frederick, and I'm the director here at the center. How's everyone feeling? All right. We are so honored to partner on the celebration of the 200th birthday of this powerful visionary and mover and shaker. And I have to tell you, there are some mover and shakers in the house tonight. Not just these amazing women next to me, but there are movers and shakers all over, everywhere you look. All right, so I hope you're ready. Tonight, I'd like to thank our contributors for ASL interpretation support provided by She and Ma, accessibility services support provided by Sydney and Helen S. Friedman Endowment, and a grant from the University Park Fee Board, which makes Penn State student prices possible. This event is presented in collaboration with Penn State College of Liberal Arts Center for the Black Digital Research, DigiBlack. We are so proud and honored to be partners on this project. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Johnson. Sorry. Dr. Foreman, just kidding.
I wish I were Dr. Johnson sometimes. Oh my goodness, the lighting. Okay, let's do it this way. We not only want to welcome you, but to start with some thank yous, and to first thank you for coming out tonight. We also want to thank the quite amazing Sita Fredericks, who, yes, can we get that? Whose exciting programming continues to energize this area and to infuse it with culture, the arts, and engagement with local communities. Please come out to the many events the Center for Performing Arts produces and support the arts at this critical juncture, particularly under this quite amazing leadership. Give it up for Sita Fredericks. We also want to thank our funders and supporters, including the College of Liberal Arts under the leadership of Dean Clarence Lang, and thanks to the Africana Research Center and Dr. Sharita Johnson. Yes. Whose dynamic leadership you'll see in evidence this weekend and in lots of programming to come. So mark your calendars for November 5th as well. Welcome again to this performance by the Sharing Our Legacy Dance Theater, and we will have more to say about Lynette Young Overby in a minute, and Dr. Sharita Johnson will introduce her and another speaker right now. Thank you.
It takes a lot of nerve to follow up Dr. Frederick and Dr. Foreman, so I'm going to do my best. My name is Dr. Sharita Johnson. I'm the director for the Africana Research Center, and I want you all to give yourselves a hand. We are gathered here to celebrate the 200th anniversary of the birth of Frances Ellen Watkins Harper. Yes. Over the course of the next 2-3 days, you're going to learn a lot more about her. If you don't know a lot, I have 2 young scholars in the audience, my kids, so we're going to have a great time. But I'm here to introduce 2 very, very important people, starting with, to my left, the director of tonight's performance, Dr. Lynette Young Overby. Dr. Overby is a professor emerita of theater and dance at the University of Delaware. She's a graduate of Hampton University, George Washington University, and the University of Maryland, where she received her PhD. Dr. Overby was the University of Delaware Director of the Community Engagement Initiative and founding director of the Partnership for the Arts and Culture. Since 2009, in her role as the artistic director of the Sharing Our Legacy Dance Theater, she has collaborated with yours truly, Professor Gabrielle Foreman, to my left, a literary historian and MacArthur Fellow, a host of composers, poets, and performers to reveal the history of the little-known African Americans through dance and theater. Our second special guest is Sharia Ben, who is in the audience or in the back. She is the founder and president of the executive artistic director of the Sankofa African American Theater Company in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Yes. Sharia holds a special passion for combining acting and historical studies to engage audiences through productions highlighting historically significant African American people and events. She is highly sought after for her original play and performance, particularly entitled Voices of FEW, Frances Ellen Watkins, that chronicles the life of Harper from throughout her life. As a contemporary companion for the civil engagement, Sharia has worked tirelessly to birth and to grow the Sankofa African American Theater Company of Harrisburg to authentically and honorably amplify Black voices, artists, and stories on the stage as you'll see here tonight.
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much for attending this, and thank you, Sharita and Sita. So, Gabrielle Foreman, who is the architect behind the entire Frances Ellen Watkins Harper 200 initiative, she's going to share a little bit about the larger program, because this is one piece of several big pieces that are going to happen to celebrate this important woman. Then I'm going to share a little bit about how these types of productions began and what you will experience today. In fact, I'm going to start with how we started. So more than a decade ago, Gabrielle and I were taking a walk. When I mentioned that, I'm really interested in choreographing a dance for our very first University of Delaware Dance Minor concert based on slave narratives. And she asked me if I knew about the life of Harriet Wilson, an indentured servant who wrote the book Our Nig. Well, I didn't know about her or the book, but became very interested in the topic. I then shared the idea with my colleague and fellow Kennedy Center artist, the poet, Glennis Redmond, who's in our audience tonight. And she began writing poetry based on the life of this remarkable writer, speaker, and entrepreneur who had been practically enslaved in New England as a child, and our first collaboration was created. The dance Sketches in the Life of Harriet Wilson was performed at our first Dance Minor concert in 2012 at the University of Delaware. Now, since that time, our collaborators have increased to include Ralph Russell, our composer. You'll hear his music throughout this work, a host of choreographers, visual artists like Jonathan Green, actors, and of course, our amazing dancers. And we've shared these stories of little-known African Americans in places like South Africa, Australia, Belize, and in cities such as Greenville, South Carolina, Wilmington, Delaware. And our Sharing Our Legacy Dance Theater website has information about each of our projects, and also includes, so our projects also include research, teaching, and community engagement components. So we're excited to continue this work with a production based on the life and legacy of Frances Ellen Watkins Harper. We are joined, as mentioned, in this project by Sharia Band. Sharia has been sharing the life of Frances Harper in a one-woman performance for many years, and she brings her to life in this production. I will now ask my colleague and friend, a recipient of the prestigious MacArthur Genius Award, Dr. Foreman, to place the project, this production in the context of the larger Frances Harper project. Thank you.
I cannot tell you how fortunate I feel that that walk with Dr. Overby that she just mentioned kicked off over 15 years, or almost 15 years of collaboration that has landed us here with you today. Lynette Young Overby is an internationally renowned dance educator, a member of the Senate-confirmed National Council of the Humanities, and she is an extraordinary institution and community builder who is committed to arts education and to bringing hidden Black history to the stage. This performance launches a weekend. Man, I cannot see y'all. I'm like, where's the light? Bring me the light. The brighter coming day I needed here. Okay, we're good here, okay? This performance launches a weekend in which a Frances Harper Symposium is taking place just days before the actual 200th anniversary of her birth this coming weekend. She was a justice seeker and a barrier breaker in so many ways. She was one of, as you know, the first Black women anti-slavery speakers and organizers, a reformer for women's rights as a writer. This gathering brings together not only those you'll see on stage today, but renowned and emerging scholars and poets in sessions that are free to everyone here. During this weekend, we'll also have an opportunity to honor another Frances Smith Foster, who recovered 3 of Harper's lost novels, reestablishing her as not only the most beloved Black poet of her time, but also the most prolific Black novelist of the 19th century. This is a weekend to honor the 2 Franceses. Please stand up, Dr. Foster, so we can recognize you. You'll also have a chance to hear about the many other activities organized on the 200th anniversary of Harper's birth by the Center for Black Digital Research. And I'll ask the organizers of those initiatives, because it is a collective endeavor, including the amazing staff at the CBDR, to stand now as I read the project. So can the staff stand first, because they hold us all together and never sleep on the project managers. A mural, stay standing please, because you guys, the 3 of you, have been involved in every single one of these. A mural which will debut in Harper's adopted hometown, Philadelphia. If you're involved in the mural, please stand. A transcribed Harper initiative, stand up, that will go live this very weekend. An exciting interactive digital exhibit accompanied by a curriculum that's easily adopted in college and high school classrooms, a Harper Readathon that can be adopted in community events, and a new body of writing by contemporary poets. Poets, stand up. Carmen, stand up, to honor Harper's legacy as the most beloved Black poet of the 19th century. It is a collective endeavor. Harper teaches us that, doesn't she? All right, thank you, y'all. I am the child of a poet, and I grew up surrounded by the writers, performers, and photographers I call uncles, while my dad wrote librettos for plays by Oscar Brown Jr., and I sat in audiences while my dad performed poetry with jazz and folk musicians before I could talk. Black culture and Black history have always been intertwined. Can I get an amen? And this is true for the activists of the 19th century. They know that culture and memory are powerfully linked, particularly during the many eras when forces converged to erase and deny Black history's place as and in American history. Am I telling the truth? Allow me a small story that ends with Harper. It was 1858, and the famous Boston activist William Cooper Nell was alarmed. Tension in Congress had boiled over into violence, and a defender of slavery had picked up his cane and beaten and bloodied an anti-slavery Massachusetts senator on the Senate floor. Could you imagine that? Yeah, you could, huh? Slavery's defenders roared their approval in the press and in the public square. Worse still, the limited rights that Blacks enjoyed in the United States were being usurped, erased, and denied across the free states. The Supreme Court, no less, had declared that Black Americans, quote, had no rights the white man was bound to respect, and had stripped citizenship from Black people regardless of their free status. Cooper Nell responded to growing hostility and encroachments on civil rights that seemed to get worse every day by organizing a color conventions meeting in New England and a memorial celebration of Crispus Attucks, the first person and a Black person to fall in the Boston Massacre that played such an important role in the American Revolution. The celebration included Frances E.W. Harper's poetry set to choral music, and it ended with a dance performance. Who is it who said the past is never dead? It's not even the past. I want to put a spin on that Faulkner quote and say this: the ancestors are with us, waiting for us to tell their stories, to remember the lessons and strengths and joy they fought to leave us, and all the scholars and poets in the room know that and are enacting that. They ask us to use all the creative and analytical forces that we have at our disposal. And we hope that you are inspired by one such example tonight.
So I'm just going to walk us through a little of the program so you'll know what to expect, what's going to happen. So we'll begin with sketch one, the first half of the program, Life for Black People in the 1800s. And during this time, we find Harper producing her first poems and writings that were deeply influenced by the state of the nation. We end the first half on a high note with Jubilee, as the moment that the enslaved learned that they were free. We'll then have a 15-minute intermission, and we have some items in the lobby with Harper quotes, cups, bags, journals, and the proceeds of these purchases will be used to help support future performances. In the second half of the production, sketch two, you'll view more of her writings through dance, with a focus on life as a Black woman in the 19th century. Her short story, The Two Offers, and her novel, Iola Leroy, are included in this section. And the choreographers for The Two Offers, Teresa Emmons, if you want to stand up, if you're back here. Oh, there she is, way back there. And Iola Leroy, A.T. Moffett has raised her hand. And our poet, Glennis Redmond, I just have to have her. Where is Glennis? And our composer, Ralph Russell. Where are you? Not there yet? Okay. So next, you're going to join the dancers as audience members at the 1866 National Women's Rights Convention in New York City as she gives the lecture, We Are All Bound Up Together. In the last sketch, we reflect on Frances Harper's legacy with a poem created by Glennis' predecessor. In this danced poem, we acknowledge all that she has passed on, her legacy of artistry and activism that reminds us that we are the branches to her tree, and that we should take what she laid before us and grow because we are her bright legacy. As a finale, we're joined by the Penn State University choir Essence, directed by Ariane Harley Emerson, who will help us all to take the spirit of Frances Ellen Watkins Harper's journey to educate, enlighten, inspire, the healing and joy as we sing and dance to Every Time I Feel the Spirit. After the performance, we're having a 20-minute talk back for those of you who would like to hear from some of the creators of this production and some of the scholars. So now, sit back, enjoy the artistry and activism of Frances Ellen Watkins Harper. Thank you all.